Then I continue to ride, shooting for the stars. If I miss, I'll land in the sky. 747, go always stay fly. Smoking the best strands, pushing them foreign rides, pushing it to the limit. I'm just trying to survive, moving at God's speed on this roller coaster ride. It's Medellin, La Costa Nostra till I die. That's when my spirit and my physical divide. Angels welcome me home, tears of joy as my soul rises, my soul rise, as my soul rises.
Like these freaks who let us use their apartments for free. It's not only that, we're paying their rent or giving them a free supply, whatever they're using. That ain't just it. Motherfuckers want to feel like they're a part of something.
Pick up the pen, said a prayer, and he blessed my ink. My spirit talking, now my soul is starting to speak. Where success is concerned, one is not measured by degrees, but by the size of his.
What's up? How is everybody doing on this evening? This is your girl, Mrs. Kiwi, along with my co-host, Mrs. Mink. Can you hear me, Miss Mink? I can't hear you. I can't hear you. You gotta speak a little louder. Anyway, we got a great topic for you all on tonight. Knowing the signs. So join in. Tune in. Let's get it started. We're going to get Miss Mink back on the screen in a minute. But in the meanwhile, we want you all to tune in. Join in to this conversation with us. This is a great topic. We want you all to talk about it with us. Call in 515-599-1687. Knowing the signs. Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
I can.
All right. Well, I was just basically letting the people know the topic on tonight, knowing your signs. But can you tell us a little bit about our mission statement? What is Why Not Said mission statement?
Well, hey, and it fits right in with tonight's topic, especially about knowing the signs. We want to bridge the gap between our youth and our season. So especially, with our topic tonight, making sure that our youth, as well as anyone, feel comfortable with expressing themselves and communicating and not holding something in, because it can cause a lot of damage when it is that you hold in certain things. So, hey, the topic on tonight fits very well with our mission statement, which is, as I stated, hey, building that bridge, that gap between our youth and our seasoned.
Yes, we're trying to make our children aware of how to be comfortable around strangers, family members, someone that they have been around that may have made them uncomfortable. We want to talk about that tonight. We want our children to be comfortable, but we also want them to be aware of things that's going on. So let's get right into it and talk about it. Miss Mink, can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me?
I definitely can.
That's great. So, it is very extremely important to pay attention to the unspoken words, when it comes to our children. Most experts have found that 70 to 93% of all communication is nonverbal. I want people to kind of think about that. Just imagine that majority of our communication comes from those nonverbal skills. And at first it kind of like, wow. But when it is that I did a little further research, I can kind of understand that, because some people aren't comfortable with, speaking it verbally, but the way that, they can speak it through emotions, which are a part of the nonverbals, then that most definitely helps a lot of people with communicating. What you think, Miss Kiwi?
That's true. But a lot of times things happen and you won't know it and happen, especially in children, until later on in life. So that's why we want to do this topic, just to bring our children aware, because this is a serious thing that's going on, and a lot of times it's brushed under the rug, or we may be embarrassed about talking about it, or we know that it's going on, but we hush to it, and we don't speak about it. So we're here to speak on it tonight, and to let people know that it's not okay, but it is okay to talk about it with your children, and there's even adults that's still uncomfortable around certain people, or they have been around this person or people that have done something, and they haven't talked about it. They haven't told anybody. So, hold on. We
Well,
got a caller on tonight already. Let's get it started. Hold on, Miss.
okay.
Call from.
Hello.
Well, hey, my family, how you doing tonight?
Oh, we all right. How you doing on the night?
Oh, doing lovely, doing lovely. I'm confused with the weather.
You confused with the weather?
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
well, that's okay. You gonna be confused because hey, don't none of us. We can't control it. That's all in God's hands.
So hey, all I can say is just rock with it. Whatever
That's
that
right.
day bring, hey, that's what you do. If it's snow out there, go get a coat. If it's sun out there, you might still need a little jacket, but you
Go get a shawl.
Hey, I'm trying to tell you, this that sick weather. You don't know what's to come. So
I keep telling the people they ain't trying to hear.
yeah, but hey, they'll get with it. So, how you doing on this evening, caller? We're talking about knowing the signs, the different signs in being uncomfortable, especially in our children. When they're around different people or even being in the presence of a stranger. Have you had that talk with your child or even your nieces or nephews on how to act or how to react around a stranger where they won't be uncomfortable or where they'll, feel comfortable in the situation?
Well, we most definitely.
Well, I had to talk with my daughter and also my nieces and nephews, the baby's younger, but it wasn't as strong until I got to my daughter.
You say it wasn't that strong until you got your daughter?
It's more important.
I didn't understand what the caller was saying.
I can't understand you either, caller. Can you repeat that, please?
Hold on. I said I paid attention set with my nieces and nephews, but it really didn't hit home until I had my daughter.
Okay.
Now, when we was younger, because I have a niece, a lot of us are close in age with our nieces and nephews in certain situations. And when I was younger, I have a niece that's a year younger than me.
Okay.
And so when she used to feel uncomfortable around a certain person, you didn't pay attention to that as a kid. But you recognized, but you really didn't trip off of it. And that's with certain friends to the family, certain friends you had as parents. You didn't think nothing of it. But when you became grown.
When you get grown and now that you're a parent, how did you have that talk with your daughter, or did a situation come about to make you want to speak on that?
A situation came about. Now, I paid attention to my daughter, and I know she was uncomfortable with certain situations. But as she's getting older and becoming into her teen years, it's certain situations that made me pay attention to the particular movement. When a child tells you they're uncomfortable around a person, or if they tell you that that person do too much, pay attention. They're not just saying that just to be saying that. And a lot of times as we're younger, even with certain situations with me being younger, if you say something to your parents, they'll dismiss it. And we have to stop being dismissive to the kids when they're willing to talk through their feelings.
Most definitely. I agree with you in reference to that because, I know that sometimes we say, hey, a child is only supposed to be talked to, or is only supposed to speak when spoken to, or either, hey, stay in a child's place. But that's only if it is that they're trying to get into adult situations. But when it comes to something that they're experiencing, they're feeling, we most definitely can't shut them up. We can't shut them up.
And then another thing is, not only we say stay in your place, but if a child is adamant on what they're telling you and they're uncomfortable around a person, something got to make the light bulb go on.
Exactly. That's true. That's when you're supposed to, as that
because
parent,
a lot of these grown figures like to pull cards when you're not around.
That's why you have to have that relationship with your child as well. You have to be talking to your child at all times. In these times, we really can't be like, oh, my child is too young to know about this. If you don't teach it to them, Facebook and Twitter and all of those social medias, they're going to teach your child what you should have been teaching them. Now, it might not even come out right, so that's why you got to always have that communication.
That's now, because they're being exposed to that now. But when we were younger, we wasn't exposed to that.
No, it was just a different era.
Not in certain situations. We wasn't, as the media and everything now, we're exposed to everything. Because everything was dead in the closet. You have to keep that in the closet.
But the thing of it is, we're in the here and now. So basically what we're trying to find out and to share some knowledge of today, how is it, or what can we do, or what is it that you did, when your child displayed the, being uncomfortable or being uncomfortable around certain people or in certain situations. If someone is listening, what is it as a parent that you do?
Say what she feels. Now, she's respectful, but if she's around an individual that she doesn't feel comfortable with, and if I'm not in the presence, I tell her to speak her feelings. Because you're not going to be around them at every point. And if they're in a situation that they don't feel comfortable with, I encourage her to say how she feels.
To that person that she's not feeling comfortable with?
Tap a grown up. If they're not listening.
So Mrs. Mink asked you, so did you ask her to say that to the grown up that she's not feeling comfortable around? Or are you saying you told her to express that to you?
I told her to say that with the grown-up she's around.
So let me ask you something.
And if she says that, it's not no attention.
Hey, caller. Can you hear Mrs. Mink when she's talking, or you can't hear her?
I can't hear her.
Okay, Miss Mink, maybe can you talk a little louder, Miss Mink? Because she was trying to ask you a question before you started speaking.
Okay, so caller, I wanted to ask you. So I know that you expressed that you wanted, you told her to express how it is that she's feeling. But how can you expect her to express that if she's feeling uncomfortable around that person?
She gives gesture. And I told her to pay attention to the grown folks that's around her if I'm not around, where she can just adamantly come to me. So if she's around family members, even if it's family, and she feels uncomfortable, and there is someone there that she feels comfortable with, express that with them if I'm not around.
Okay.
Now, if that person doesn't take heed to what she's saying, then when she comes to me, now that I've come around, I'm in presence, because now they feel more comfortable now that their parent or somebody that they're comfortable that they can express that with is around. If they express that, then that is that person or me to acknowledge the situation. Now, what I'm not going to do is put my child on blast in front of the person that she feels uncomfortable with. Now, that's another problem we have. That's another problem we have. I'm not going to do that.
Right. And you shouldn't. You shouldn't. But that's the reason why I asked that question. How can you, express, or how can you expect for that baby to express herself to that person that they are feeling uncomfortable with? Now, I understand that you stated even her speaking to somebody that she may feel comfortable with, but because that person is there, she still may not feel comfortable with, speaking on that, because she may be scared that they're going to address it with her being there.
Right.
And I need that person that she confided in to take me to the side if I wasn't present at the time.
But every parent is not going to be like that, though. Every parent is not present, or
but even when they become present, they
don't have that type of relationship
even when
with their children, though.
Even when they're told. That's how come I brought this subject up, because it needs to be mentioned.
Exactly, it do. Because you're not the only parent
a
that
lot
feels
of
that way
times
either, though.
The child tell their parent, and they so quick to dismiss the child. And that's where we come up with problems with. Because everything is not meant to be dismissive, because your child said to that. And if you knowing your child, and if they come to you with a certain situation like that, that's for you to take heed. But we have situations that we have now that we've had this discussion time and time and time again. And we always discuss how we don't have the big mamas, and we don't. It seems like the generation is getting younger, and younger.
So let me ask you this: besides with your child, what is it that you have done, or maybe that you see yourself doing now, or maybe even in the future, to help this situation get better?
Listen.
You said nothing?
Listen.
She said listen.
That's a damn good answer.
Listen. Okay.
Okay, that's a good answer right there.
Listen. Because if you don't listen, you won't understand to correct anything. I've learned that if you listen twice and speak once, you might understand something. You might learn something, because we're never too old to learn something.
That's right. She should be a student at all times.
Well, that was one thing that I had spoke about from the beginning, as far as even those nonverbal cues. We can listen with our eyes too, because when we see different things, as far as different behaviors that are being displayed that aren't being spoken, then we can also address
because it ain't always verbal. It ain't always verbal. Listen.
Right.
If they giving you body language around a certain person, listen.
Yep.
It don't have to be verbal. Because some kids give you body language around certain people.
Mm-hmm.
That's what listening. Listening ain't always hearing. Listening is paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
You might learn something.
And that's true.
That's where it comes in to us paying attention to our kids.
That's so true. We have to get back to paying attention to our children.
Because we got to. And it takes a village, of course.
And you got to
But
know
the
who that
village not
village is
gonna
as well,
listen.
though, because you can't just let it.
Absolutely.
Right.
That's what I was getting ready to say.
Now, I'm going to tell you something, because these villages of the day, baby, you can't just let any village take care of your baby. You got to know that village.
No.
Now, yeah, you got to know
Not
that
at
village,
all.
too, now.
Not at all. But the village is what you build.
Right, real talk.
Because that's where the media and everything come in teaching your child. But the village around you is the village you build. Because that's the only village you want around your child. And we can't go back to what I used to do or what I did or how I did it when I was in my 20s. That ain't for my child to know. Because I was still learning myself.
But sometime you could use that as a reference to let them know that I wasn't
It's
always.
a reference.
I wasn't
But I
always
don't
this
want
person.
my village.
Hold on, listen though.
I don't
Listen.
want my village.
Listen, caller. Sometimes it could be showing them that I had flaws too. So me teaching you is from my experience and not just me fussing at you all. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you do have to rewind that time to let them know that I was in my lower self at times and I was off my square. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not just fussing at you because I'm just. Huh?
That's for you. That's for you to paint the picture for a lesson. I was talking about the village. Because sometimes the village, when you paint that lesson, sometimes the village will bring old you to try to make a point to your kids to be okay with what they doing.
Right. Yeah, that's facts.
And that's why I say again, even with you building your village, you still got to know the people who you building your village with. You know them, but you don't never know people's actions or how they going to react to a situation or what they might bring out to want to make a point in all of that. But you got to know your child, and your child got to know what's being taught in the home. So when that child step out of that home, they know how to act and how not to act. Because when kids are not around their parents, they going to try it. They going to test the waters. They going to do this and they going to do that. So it ain't no need of us going to say what our kids ain't going to do when they not around us, because they going to test the water.
Voice come in, because everybody got a conscience. And I'm pretty sure you had a conscience of your mother as well when you stepped out.
Exactly. Most definitely.
So everybody got a conscience
but I still tried some things. So let's, we got to also let it be known to these children. What's being taught in the home, you have to take that outside of your home. Because every time you step outside of this house, you still a representation of me, of our family, your dad. You know what I'm saying? But even with that, kids are still going to go outside and try to test the waters to see if they will be able to get away with it. So that village that you're talking about, that's when you need that village to step up and be able to see.
Is still in the back of their head. Because you're the voice that they wake up to and when they go to sleep.
Yeah, you are. You're definitely that, and
your
that's why
voice,
we have to teach our
their
children.
parents' voice is when they wake up and when they go to sleep.
So let me ask you this: let me ask you this, caller. Do you think that when your child is not around you, do you think she would do anything that's something you taught her not to do?
I'm not gonna put nothing past my child, because I was a child once as well.
Right.
And I didn't abide by my mom's rules or my parents' rules at all times. But that voice in the back of their head That's what the encouragement is. Because we all stepped out. Because we thinking, oh, they don't know what they saying, but we learn. Now, it's either you're going to learn the hard way. A bought lesson is better than a gave lesson every day. I give you the lesson. But until you buy it, you're not going to understand what I'm saying.
And Caller, that's why we're having
a
this
bought
discussion,
lesson is
because
better than a
you
gave
asked
lesson any
listen,
day.
Caller, we appreciate this we appreciate this session here, and the reason I say that is because you brought that to our attention, and you was one of the ones that, asked, could we have this? And I think that this is a great discussion because, you have experienced it, and you're just sharing with the people some of the experience that you have had with your daughter. So, I just want our listeners to know that this is something that has really happened, and this is happening every day. So, we have to take our children back. We have to listen to our children. We have to pay attention to their body language. We need to know why our children is sad in that room. We need to know why our kids stop talking. You know what I'm saying? Especially if your child is a happy child. Those are signs that maybe something is wrong. It don't always have to be, someone did something to them. They might just be feeling uncomfortable about something. So, you have to talk to your kids about everything. Everything. You just have to pick your battles of what how you talk to them about what you talk to them about.
Because we wasn't exposed to half the things that we witnessing now. Everything was kept in the closet.
Yeah.
We wasn't exposed to the things that they exposed to now. They get on their phone, it's a wrap.
Exactly. We definitely have to be on point with it. But we definitely appreciate you calling in, Miss Caller, and you are always one of our favorites because you keep in touch, you stay in tune, and you're always calling in on the subject. So we definitely appreciate you for calling in.
So did we get?
And it was something that needs to be said.
You say what, Miss Mink?
And I love y'all.
We love you too, Caller. We definitely love you too. What you say, Miss Mink?
Did we get any type of help or message that we can share with those that, maybe going through the same thing and haven't spoke up about it, don't know or understand how to help their children when it comes to them, feeling comfortable to speak up about that comfort level when it is that they're around someone that they're not comfortable with. That's something that is needing, that's a part of our topic that's needing to be addressed, and some form of solution or help or something to help those parents that may be struggling with that. I mean, because I can relate to that most definitely. Sometimes we get in our busyness of life and we don't take that opportunity or that time to see those nonverbal signs, or when our children are trying to express certain things to us and we don't listen. So what is the best, I guess you would say, what is a solution, a start of a solution to help those? Because I think that's the reason why a lot of our children are lost.
You take the time. Take the time. With all that we doing, we got to go to work. We got to do this. We got businesses and all that. But at the end of the day, we have a family. And we have to take the time. Regardless, we on the grind. We doing what we need to do. But at the end of the day, take the time with your family, with your household, with your immediate. Because even though you're moving through and doing what you have to do, because all of us have to live. We have to make a living.
So let me ask you this, caller. Let me ask you this. So we spoke on how you addressed it with your child, but did you address it with the person that they were feeling uncomfortable with?
Yes.
Yes. And that person didn't accept it, so they ain't even near her, here or there. You hear me?
You say what now? I didn't understand what you just said.
I addressed it. It was neither here nor there. Because it was all you tripping. Yeah. No.
So at this point, you know what it is that you have to do in reference to protecting your child and keeping them away from that situation, right?
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
sometimes you can't talk to that.
I'm honoring my child, and you being dismissive to my child, if I'm telling you she's uncomfortable to you, and she says you're doing too much around her, and you don't want to accept that, no, I'm not, no. See, this goes with babysitting, leaving your kids with anybody.
All of that.
Just so you can go do what you do. Because if I leave mine around you one time and she tell me she ain't feel no type of comfort, and if I got, that's even with my family member, significant other. If I have my family there and she can't address that, then all ties have to be cut. So therefore, she's not going over there no more.
Yeah, because sometimes you can't get through to the other party because of, a lot of people are dealing with certain things. And so a lot of people don't take responsibility for what it is that they need to address when it comes to themselves. So to avoid, your child to have this continuation of, feeling uncomfortable around that person isn't willing to accept it, apologize for it, acknowledge it, or whatever the case may be, then yes, you have to remove your child from that situation and not, insert them back into it, because that's a form of you listening to what it is that your child has said, in reference to that. So most definitely.
And that goes for children, adults, because there's a lot of adults that live, I'm not going to say in fear, but, in fear and don't want to be around certain people, or, things have happened to them and they haven't spoke about it. So, they're uncomfortable, but you can tell there's something.
And you can
they
tell
just
they're uncomfortable around certain people.
Exactly.
I mean, it speaks for itself.
Exactly.
Well, and that's something that I found during my studies. Children especially need that attention in order to grow emotionally, develop their self-esteem, confidence, and also, have that positive sense of identity. And when it is that they're impacted at an early age with that, and it's not, and they experience negative experiences or trauma or whatever the case may be, and if it's never addressed, yes, they grow up with it. And if it, and if it continues on and it just go ahead and escalate, and it escalates as it is that they become adults. So sometimes, and that's when it is that adults have to seek that help, for themselves. Right. And sometimes they don't. So
and you hurt your knee, you got a boo-boo. You wanted what? Someone close to you to say it's going to be okay. A lot of these kids need someone close to them to say, I hear you, and it's going to be okay. Because a lot of these kids need to know that somebody got them. That's where the village come in. And you got to build the village around people that really consider everybody in hand. So we can't sit and pretend that sometimes we give false. And that's why we have to build our own village. Because at first we was depending on the village that was gave to us. And the village that was gave to us ain't right.
Yeah. Well,
So
I mean, you know what? A lot of times it falls back on the parents. As I stated, there are children that have grown into adults that have, as Miss Kiwi stated, the same thing. I found it very interesting, this syndrome called, what is it called? It is the cold mother syndrome. And what the cold mother syndrome is basically what it is that we're talking about, that that actually impacts that child's growth. Their actual brain is not growing to function, to be able to relate, to be able to communicate, to be able to feel, build that confidence and so on and so forth. And the cold mother syndrome is when that mother shuts their child out, basically. They don't listen to them, don't know how to communicate with them, neglect as far as from an emotional standpoint, don't show any type of emotions.
We have broken people raising broken people.
And that's true. That's true. But guess what? We can sit and talk about how broke people are, how broken people are, but what kind of advice or what encouragement or where can you tell someone to go get some help from, to deal with a situation like that? Because we can sit here and talk all day about how broke. We all know that people are broken. We know that, we need to take our children back. We need to start listening more. But what kind of advice can you give a person, or where can you tell them to go to even try to get some help? Because like I said, some people don't open up and do all of that.
Take the resources. Take the resources and be able to appreciate the resources that you have. Be able to do that. Because admission comes within everybody, because all of us is broken. All of us have something that's going. That's how come in certain situations we raise broken children.
So how can you break that curse of raising broken children? How can you, as the caller, break that curse of raising broken children?
I take advantage of the resources.
Okay.
If
Do you have some resources that you can give some people?
Besides, you have family services that can present you with a psychiatrist. Sometimes you need to talk to somebody outside of your family to be comfortable enough to stress everything that you've been through. I don't know what resources that could be in the state that you're in, but take advantage of the resources. That's for mental, physical, and verbal health. That's in your state. That you can talk to somebody outside your family. Because everybody has skeletons that don't nobody talk about. That could be detrimental to your mental health. maybe you talking to an outside source can help you get through it to be better for yourself and your children.
That's why it's very
because
important.
If you're not good, you can't be good to your children.
That's what I was finna
If
say.
you're
It's
not
very
good,
important to love
you
ourselves
can't be
and pay
good to
attention to
your children.
ourselves.
That's
Because
right.
our kids are sponges and they pay attention to our pain and they soak up our pain. So like when we saying we raising broken children, you know, somewhere along that line we gotta check ourselves in order to be more effective to help these kids that's being broken. A lot of times it start with home. We pass our pain down our kids, fussing around them and talking about stuff around them, and you know what I mean, looking at them in that certain fashion or teaching them our broken ways. And it start with self, you know what I mean, like, because even when you go to outsources, if you're not in a good place to receive it, you'll be defending yourself, your kids, and all y'all bullshit anyway, and they just trying to help you. So really the best route is to start with self. We got to be more responsible as far as our own flaws, our own struggles, our own weaknesses, you know what I mean? Spend more time with self, paying attention to self, and even taking time out to cry, get stuff up out of your system, you know what I'm saying? Because the energy we put out, our kids is soaking all of that up. You know what I'm saying? So when we think we got the right to be mad or we got the right to be on this shit or this is just me, them thoughts alone becomes them. You know what I'm saying? So it start with self for real. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of us go and get outside sources and it don't help because you ain't right with self. You think about, I'm trying to help my kid. Fuck that. Help yourself first. And that way you can help your kid. You see what I'm saying? Because that's what we don't realize. When he told us love yourself, and that's going to be the energy you're going to put out to that kid. You know what I'm saying? If you ever notice when the kids are around people that genuinely love them, you feel me? They soak that up and they be happy and they comfortable and they feel protected. You feel me? But then when they're around people that's constantly dealing with their own bullshit and the kids seeing that, you feel me? They start feeling like they got to deal with that type of stuff, you know, and that's how they see the world. You know what I'm saying? So it's very important as a people. We got to check that man in the mirror. Michael Jackson told us, I'm starting with the man in the mirror. We got to become responsible again. We think like, oh, I got to go talk to this counselor. But damn, what happened to the strong person inside of you? You see what I'm saying? And don't get me wrong, that's a step too. But the most important step is preparing self to even, you got to prepare self to even go talk to that counselor so you can really receive what that counselor got for you so you can be able to help that baby. You see what I'm saying? So me, myself, that's what I'm working on right now. I don't give a fuck what nobody think about it. I'm checking that man in that mirror because that way I could be able to receive the help I got out here. You feel me? I could be able to be more effective for my babies. You feel me? And I could be able to, you know, I could be able to walk in my purpose better. You feel me? So it start with self. Everything, even our flaws, you got to whoop yourself first. You feel me? I whoop myself more than anybody can even imagine. You see what I'm saying? So by the time somebody else saying something, they don't even know I'm drained. I hear you. I hear you because I've been telling myself the whole time. So right now, I take it as a confirmation by the time I get to the next person. You see what I'm saying? Because I've been telling myself that too. So now you see it too. So that's how we got to train our kids to be more to be more responsible of self, checking self, check, even when you get up in the morning and you look in that mirror, we train our kids to just make sure yourself is okay. Don't wait for somebody else to tell you you're okay, baby. Go in that mirror, wipe your face, wipe your eyes, get that stuff out your eyes. You see what I'm saying? That's training them to go check self first before you leave the house. That's how we was taught. Get up, brush your teeth, you know what I mean? Make sure your breath fresh. You know what I mean? All of that meant something. Now we done got our kids, that's their choice. It's a choice now. And then later on, after we done realized 4 days later, you ain't been brushing your teeth for 4 days. Well, where you been the last 4 days, mama? You feel me? Or daddy? You feel me? So it comes with teaching our kids to be more self-sufficient. Check yourself. That don't cost a dime. Get up and go wipe your face, brush your teeth. That's how grandma and them made us. They made us go wash our hands before we eat. You know, all of that made us check self first. So even when life get hard, you check yourself. So that way we'll stop blaming the outside sources of how situations is hitting us. You feel me? We'll blame everything else when the whole time if we don't check that person in the mirror, we'll still deal with it, and our kids will still see it because we are the first things they pay attention to. You know what I'm saying? So we they first teachers. We teach them either how to be strong or how to be weak. We teach them how to deal with life or how not to deal with life. You feel me? So it start back with ourselves. You know what I'm saying? So when we be thinking going to get outside sources, we gotta check self first. You feel me? Real talk.
Yeah.
That way we can be prepared to go get outside sources. Because otherwise we wasting their time. Our kids going out there, they ain't trying to hurt them, and they still come home and feel the same way. You know what I'm saying? So when we check ourselves, we open ourselves up to being able to let them cry on our shoulder because we can cry with them. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit, baby, I ain't perfect. See, a lot of us, we trick these kids by making them think it's a perfect world out here. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Our grandma ain't never make us think it was a perfect world. She just showed us we gonna handle it. You see what I'm saying? We wasn't never taught it was a perfect world. We was taught we could all struggle together. Meet us at grandma's house. If y'all ain't got nothing at their house to eat, get over here. We cooking, there's food over here, and ain't nobody worrying about what you going through because we all going through it. You see what I'm saying? So we gotta train them again to know that it is a place, you know what I'm saying, where you can be comfortable, where you can be yourself. And we want you to stay yourself. You see what I'm saying? Because if you don't help yourself, can't nobody help you anyway. And we want our kids to know that part. You feel me? Like,
and I'm just gonna interject and say, and this is just from me because I know everybody is not in this space as well. But that's something that has helped me, and that is I'm able to know myself because of the God in me. I have learned to put God first. And that's something that even helped along the way. And I would say that came from my mom in reference to our mother. I'll say that our mother in reference to teaching us where our help meet or help make actually comes from. And how it is that we can basically kind of help ourselves. Because if we lean on our higher power, our higher being, or whatever the case may be, when we get to learn who that is, self, we're going to learn self. And we will be able to help our children. We need to bring our children back.
That's a whole different cloth from what we dealing with right now. That's a whole different
part. That's what we keep losing in that. He said he come as he are. He everywhere with our children in situations. That's why, you know why? Because when you realize that certain situations you can't handle or you ain't got an answer for that baby, you see what I'm saying? You show them, we gonna sit here, we gonna pray on it, and we gonna figure it out somehow, some way. You know what I mean? That way they gonna know that even when my parent didn't know, they still was willing to get down and dirty with me and let me know that we gonna pray on this and we gonna figure it out somehow, some way. So even in them times when we get confused as parents because we didn't come with a manual, you see what I'm saying? We still have to train and show them kids, even when I'm lost, I'm gonna turn to him, baby, and we gonna figure it out. You feel me? So that's knowing self, because only self knows that I only could go so far. We can act, we confront to the world like we got it all figured out, and then when you get in that closet by yourself and start breaking down, you're gonna call out to somebody higher than yourself. So we have to train our kids to know how to do that too. You feel me? Because we don't have all the answers. You feel me? We don't have all the answers, so we got to show them too, baby. This world ain't real. This world ain't perfect. So when we ain't got the answer, it's somebody who got an answer for you.
And that makes sense, Fast Lane. Because let me interject, like at that moment, like you said, just think you're not there with your child, and your child is amongst other adults, but you're not there. If your child knows how to pray, in that moment she's gonna say a prayer like, you know, Father, I'm feeling whatever her little prayer may be to him. So that's, you know what, we do have to get back to also teaching our children. Yeah, we gotta pray about it. You know what I'm saying? We gotta bring God back. We got to. Whatever you call him, whoever it is that you may serve, whatever your high being. I'm not here advertising, and I'm just here saying that we got to get back to knowing that it's not us that's doing nothing that's being done.
And you know, Kiwi, check this out. Our ancestors was along this journey. They always passed down guidelines for us. You know what I'm saying? They left clues. You see what I'm saying? And one thing we noticed that we came from a praising people. You know what I'm saying? They always let us know that it was a higher power. They always let us know that we was a child of God. They always gave us signs because of the greatness they was doing in the worstest of times. You know what I'm saying? When they was being conquered, they was leaving blueprints for us. You know what I'm saying? And the moment we adjusted again to what man tell us, you see what I'm saying? We steady losing as a people, you feel me? Because we lost our ways. When we stopped praying, when we stopped, they took it out of the schools. That's because they don't want us to get back to ourselves. You see what I'm saying? Our higher power, where that's what gave us power in our worstest of times. When we don't know which way to go, we prayed. You see what I'm saying? Now they want you to feel like, oh, you got this. You could do it on your own. No, we can't. That's why we all lost around this. No matter how strong or how successful people is, it's people that's very successful blowing their brains out because they don't know how to pray no more. They thought they was in total control. You see what I'm saying? So when we realize that you only could go so far until self tell you like, hey, you better bow down and just let it go and pray on it. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't know this way, or you might not know this route. We got to train our kids to be able to do that too. That way when they ain't with us and we can't protect them, you feel me?
They learning how to handle situations.
Exactly, and they'll realize who been protecting us the whole time. You feel me?
That's right.
You see
It all do go hand in hand, cuz
it does.
You just gotta be able to break it down. It's levels to everything. But, you know, you still got to tie it all back to him. No matter what, how you want to look at it, it still ties back to him. And definitely with our babies. Because, hey, I know you to be a praying mother. So that means you done prayed and gave your child back to him anyway. So with that being said, she has to know in situations like that, okay, my mother's not here, but let me think about what she taught me, which was say a prayer and you know, allow God to handle that situation until mama get around. And then that's going to help her to be comfortable. And that's what we're talking about, you know, being uncomfortable around certain people or certain situations. It all ties back.
Yes, it does. And that's the reason why it is that I kind of brought it up, because I wanted to bring it back around too. In order for our children to start feeling comfortable with speaking up, with being able to communicate, with feeling comfortable in this world that's even chaotic, is we have to give our kids back to our maker. We got to give our kids back to our maker. And when it is that they are not in our presence, before we have to pray over them, and we got to teach them how to pray. Because like Miss Kiwi and Fastlane stated, when we are not in their presence, all they got to do is rebuke them. And they'll, believe me, that presence of comfortability will come over them, because they don't got to worry about what that person may be trying to, you know, communicate or do. Hey, you can pray yourself out of a situation. And I know some praying kids. I got a little niece that'll pray you out of situations. So, hey, she'll be playing when she prays. So, yeah.
Baby,
and that's so much power. And that's what they was trying to steal from us. Like, that give us protection when we can't protect ourselves. They give us protection when our babies ain't around us. That's what kept us safe. See, I'm saying it from an angle of knowing my mama always prayed for me, you know what I'm saying, to the point where I learned to even pray for myself when I was in situations I ain't know no other way to go. You feel me? And when you see him answering those prayers, you realize, hey, this worked. And this is way more powerful than what they trying to make it seem like. You see what I'm saying? This ain't no multiple choice situation. This really works. You see what I'm saying? So to those that think it don't, they gonna learn somehow, some way. Because when you get put in a situation where you can't go no further, some gonna make you bow down. You feel me? And that's the part I learned. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and that's what we just have to teach our kids. If we, I feel very confident if we put prayer and we start really, like I said, give our kids back to our maker, then we'll see a change.
Well, Miss Mink, you know, we always come to this time of the evening where, you know, it's time to get out of here. But that was a great conversation. And, you know, of course, we'll bring it back around again, maybe with a different topic, but on the same subject, because it's well needed. We have a lot of children out here that's afraid to speak up. They want to be in the in crowd. You know, they don't want to be a misfit. They want to be a part. Everybody wants to be a part of something, but just know this. God made you unique and whole. He made you your own person. So own that and live in your truth.
Introducing Miss Mink. Talk to us, man.
Oh, I was waiting on fast lane because I ain't want to cut them off. But I mean, just basically, let's think about how it is that we can resolve some of the things that our children are experiencing, and pay attention to those nonverbals. Let's give them back. Let's give them back to where it is that they were created.
And once again, we would like to thank our guest that called in. She's always faithful to our topic. And to the next time, next Friday, same time. Why not say it? If you have a topic, let us know. We're going to talk about it. Thank you all for listening.